Welcome back to Engage Scratch Building. So this is a Scalescenes free download, and it is a coal office. On there as well, on the component parts, there are some coal staves which I will be using and I will be needing. Now, as I've downloaded it, I can use it many times as I want. So what I've done, I've printed it out onto sticky paper, and what it then asks you to do is to cut along the lines, and the top part is on the sticky paper, and then each of these parts are on different thicknesses of card. So what I've done is I have got a thin piece of card, which is a light piece of card, a medium piece of card, which is this grey piece of card, and then for the thick or heavy piece of card, all I'm going to do is stick it onto a old cereal box. What I've done, I've gone ahead and cut along the lines and then mounted the relevant pieces. So this is the thin piece of card, the medium piece of card, which is then on the grey, that has also got the coal staves on. And then for the heavy piece of card, which is going to be all like the base layers and stuff like that, that's just on the back of a cereal packet. What I've done is I've cut across the top of the paper so I can use the bits of card again. So the first thing it asks you to do is to cut out the windows for the building, and it's difficult to see, but basically I've got to cut out that area there, those 4 boxes. Now, the way that I do my windows is the sticky label method, which is why this is on sticky labels. So what I'll do, I will mount them to a little piece of acetate. This is on sticky paper. So then what I'll do is I'll just cut out the blocks in the middle, which is going to be a bit tricky and fiddly, and then literally just peel the bits off. Now I've done it, 2 pieces there. Now I can only see on the instructions that you need 1, so but I've done both of them. These are tiny, as you can see, they are absolutely minuscule, but I managed to do it. Okay, the next thing it asks you to do is to take the heavy card, and this is the 2 side walls, the external side walls, and that is the base. Then what it wants you to do then is the print only side, is to cut that out and then wrap both of these up, which I'm going to go ahead and do, and this is it. As I say, I've done it on sticky labels, so I've cut them out, put them on sticky labels. As you can see, these things are absolutely tiny, but I'll quickly put them on. Right, after fiddling with them a little bit, I managed to get them on, and what you actually then to do as well is to make a slit in the middle, which I didn't do on the original thing because I wasn't quite sure what it was for, but I then realised this is to wrap around the door. So I'll go ahead and do that, using the edge of the scalpel. Now you can use anything you want, but obviously I've got chunky fingers. The items are tiny, so I managed to get that done and then wrap it around, and then I've done it on both parts. Obviously the other part of the wall doesn't have a door, but I fiddled around with them and managed to get them both covered, and this is what it looks like. So just to give you an idea, that is the first one covered, this is the second one covered. As you can see, sticky labels, and they're just going to go around and basically wrap the pieces of card, and this will be both the pieces finished. So as you can see, they are small. Okay, the next thing it asks you to do is to cut out these 2 pieces here. So these are the long parts of the building, and then it asks you to also wrap them in that texture there. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. There is a window to fit into place, so we'll have to cut out the heavy card part so that the window can actually be seen and fit in place. Okay, so I've cut out the hole, and the window will go on the back of the of that piece I've cut out. But before I do that, there is on the printed only side a window sill to put in. So this is it. As you can see on the end of my scalpel, it is tiny. I've cut it out, and basically what I've got to do is put the windowsill in there and then mount the window at the back of that piece of card. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll then show you what it looks like when I've done it. And this is it. I've mounted the windowsill onto the front and then glued the window frame and components onto the back like so. So that part is done. The next thing it asks you to do on the heavy card is to cut out this piece here. This is the internal wall with the internal texture on it, and it's literally just going to go over that. And then what it asks you to do is then to weigh it down while it dries and glues. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Right, while that other piece is drying, the next thing it asks you to do is to choose your door. So this is off the printed piece only. Now, there's a range of doors there, all different colours. I'm probably just going to go with the first one on the left, the red one. But you do have choices there, and you can make your own as well. There are softwares out there that you can do that with, but I will just go with that first one there. So I'll cut this out here, and then what I'll do is go ahead and mount it to the back of the piece, which is this piece here. Now what I have done, because this is on sticky label, I won't be able to use it. I'm literally going to have to just glue it to the back of that piece there. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll move on to the next step. Okay, the next step is this piece here. This is off the printed part, and what that is going to be the gutters on either side. Now when I cut this out, it is just slightly larger than the piece, so I'm going to cut it out, mount it to the back, and then wrap like this the edges around, and that will represent the gutters. Now I didn't particularly like the way that it's done, but I followed the instructions. Now there are better ways of doing it than that, so I think in future I will change how I do that slightly. The next part what it asks you to do is to cut this piece out here. Now this piece is the texture for the internal wall of the chimney. So I'm going to cut that out, and then what I'll also need to do is on the heavy card piece is to cut out the chimney part on the heavy card, and then that will just stick together onto the internal chimney wall. So if I continue on, the bit that it asks you to cut out onto the heavy card is this bit here. Now I have cut it out, and basically what it's going to do is that and that are going to stick together on the so that bit with the black goes on top. So that's what I'm going to do, is stick them together, and we'll go on to the next step. Right, the next stage it asks you to do is to cut out these chimney parts here, or the internal and external chimney parts. So basically that's going to be cut out and then stuck underneath, and then what it asks you then to do is to cut out that piece there, which is the wrap for it. So the whole of the wrap is going to go round the chimney, and then that will be all of the parts done and dusted, and then I'll be able to start assembling and making up the actual structure. Right, the next thing it asks you to do is to cut that part out there, which I will do. What that then does is, this is the wrap, and this here will wrap onto that top part there, and that is going to be the top part of the roof, but not the actual roof. So basically that is the guttering. So I've cut it out, and then this is the wrap for it, and it basically, you can't really see it, but you have to wrap it and then cut it out, and those parts there, these bits here on the sides will actually fit into the gap. Now these are small, but I will do it. So this is it. So what I've done, I've stuck them together, and then just got to stick this one on the end here. Now I'm going to leave that to dry a bit, and then the bit you can see above the ruler is the bit that's going to go and create part of the box before the roof goes on. Okay, so this is the box complete, the box of the building. This is the outer walls. It's all dry, so I've just got to put this piece on here. Now it's obviously got a little cut out just to go around the chimney, so I'll lay that into place and I'll glue that down and I'll let that dry. Okay, so it actually to then cut that out there, and also the textures on the next page, but where my finger is there, that is the coal staves, which I will show you at the end. But these pieces of the roof here are tiles, and they ask you to cut them into strips so you can lay them over the roof. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and do that, and then we will put the roof on. So this is the textures put on the roof, and then what I've done, I've just cut that out as well, so that is a piece going to go around the chimney. So I will glue that on and then leave that to set. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put the roof on. That is now dry. The only things I've really got to do now is a couple of things. One is the ridge tiles to go across the centre of the roof, which is just a piece of texture paper just to cut out of that piece. And then also I have some signs to choose from if I want to put any signs on, which I probably will put one of the smaller signs on just for effect. So quick look, put the centerpiece on, and the only other thing I've got to really do now is to cut out that piece there. So that is the cap for the chimney, and that is also on the paper a wrap. So I'll cut that out, wrap the cap, and then I'll stick it down to that. Now I can put some chimneys on that if I wish to, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to or not yet. So after finishing all that, that is complete. The coal staves are done. I didn't show you how to do the coal staves, but they were just dead easy. It's just a matter of cutting them out, sticking them back to back, and then gluing them all together. And that is the little coal office. So what I'm going to do is create a little scene around that, and then that will go onto my layout. So as always, thank you very much for watching Ngauge-scratch building. If you've got any tips or suggestions or any recommendations, then pop them in the comments below. As always, be sure to hit the subscribe button for more content, and until next time, thank you all for watching.